Finally showing you guys how I cut my own hair. I'm not a professional. I'm not telling you to do this or that this is what's good for your hair. It's just what I do to my own hair that works for me. I do this on dirty hair because I don't like to wash my hair twice in a row. I always start with my bangs and face framing pieces, so just take a round section all the way around the front of your face. And I just cut this whole section down at an angle to kind of create face framing and curtain bangs. And then I take a really, really small section at the top of my head. Smaller sections are what help me make sure it's blended. I based this whole haircut around the face framing that I did in that first step. So I just see where the face framing meets the top layer and then cut at that same angle. This helps the bangs and face framing look blended in with my layers. Also start small, only cut a tiny bit because you can always cut more, but once you've already cut it, you can't go back. And then kind of like when I'm brush styling, I do horizontal sections all the way around my head and cut the same amount. Once I've cut the length at that angle all the way around my head, I poof it up and kind of cut down into the sides to add a little bit more layering and kind of round out the shape. This also gives me so much more volume. Then I do the exact same thing on the other side. I start with where the section meets my bangs and just trim the ends, add an angle, poof it up, and then cut down into the side for the rounded shape. I also try to make sure that I'm cutting the exact same amount. So like say I cut an inch off the right side, then for the rest of my hair, I focus on just cutting 1 inch. That's how it ends up looking even. So I just did all those steps for another section. After each new section, I take it down and check the shape from the front and the back with a mirror, make any little extra adjustments if I need to, and then I go for another section. No matter what piece I'm cutting, I always try to do it at a slight angle instead of straight across so that it doesn't look choppy. And this part where I kind of slide cut down into just the very top, like thin pieces of each section really is so key for the rounded shape. Like that part is really important. Don't skip it if you're trying to do this at home. I also just want to point out that because I have really thick and very coarse, very curly hair, it doesn't matter that much if I make a mistake or if it's not like totally perfect, because when my hair is curly, you honestly can't tell. Okay, when I start getting to the bottom of my hair, like the last third or so, I actually just do one really big section because I like the bottom of my hair to still look thick. I don't like a really thinned out look at the ends. I still do all the same steps. You can just see that this bottom section I'm doing is really thick. So I cut through the bottom one chunk at a time, kind of section by section all the way around my head, and then I cut down into it from the top to round out the shape. After I'm done, I take it all out and check the shape all the way around, make sure it looks nice and blended. If I find any curls that don't look right, I'll trim those one curl at a time. I really like to check the shape while my hair is brushed out like this because it gives me a better idea of if the layers are actually looking blended. Again, I use a mirror to check from the sides, check from the back, make sure that it's all looking right before I wash and style my hair. Then I wash and style like usual and check again just to make sure that with my hair actually styled, everything's looking right. If I find any individual curls that look like they're still too long, I'll do like a one curl at a time touch up. That's pretty much it. I was really happy with how this came out. I know that was a lot really fast. Let me know if you still have questions or if it was confusing. I'm happy to answer in the comments.